to Focus Unleashed. This week, we're going to talk about something that has really been a debate that I've had with myself for a very long time. We're going to be talking about leadership. Leadership isn't a title. Responsibility gave you weight. Now, leadership gives you influence. But leadership isn't about titles. It isn't about authority. It isn't about control. Leadership is about identity. It's about becoming the example. It's about living in a way that others want to follow. This episode is about leadership through identity and how to embody it. The reason this is so important to me, I used to work in an industry where to be promoted, you were promoted as a leader. A lot of times I felt people chased the title without embodying what the title meant. They chased the title for the money, to not do as much work, but they didn't chase it to embody what the position really entailed as being a leader. I've always had the thought process, what if we took titles out of the equation in the job market, and the only way that someone could identify what position you held was by the work that you did? I get different feedback on that. Some people like it, some people don't. But I think if you embody leadership as it is, you are going to do what you would expect others to do, and you're going to do it at such a high level, people will want to then follow your lead. Think about that, because when we come back, we're going to talk about leadership as a Focus Unleashed quality. All right, we're back. Leadership, when it comes to the Focus Unleashed system, follows or really flows from responsibility. So we talked about responsibility last week, the weight of it, and leadership flows from that, because responsibility proves that you can carry weight. Leadership proves you can carry people. Leadership flows naturally from responsibility because responsibility builds trust. Responsibility builds consistency. Responsibility builds credibility. And responsibility builds identity. Leadership is the visible extension of your responsibility phase. That is where I really come into question what would happen if we take roles out of, or titles out of, the business world. Could I understand your position based on what you do on a consistent basis? Do I trust you based on what I see? Do I feel like you are credible in that position? If I don't feel that way, then you're not a leader. And I see that across the board in the work environment. I see it in sports. I see it just everywhere in life. We give titles, but the work and the commitment and the consistency doesn't follow the title that is given. So Focused Unleashed, we really talked about responsibility last week. why the weight of responsibility was important, and that flows right into leadership. As I'm building this system and I'm inputting into my life, I may have a few people watch consistently, but nobody is probably like, oh, I want to embody this system and put it into my life. Why? I really haven't built the trust in the system, the credibility in the system, even though I'm being very consistent and I'm finding success with it. There's really nothing tangible that people see other than me talking about it, right? So this is the first step of me trying to build trust, trying to build credibility while being consistent with the system in my life, but also talking about it so that people can identify with it and understand that this is something that can be used in many different ways. How you incorporate it into your life is going to be totally different from the way that I incorporate it in my life. But that's what a system is all about. Having a foundation, building upon that foundation, and then incorporating aspects of the system into your life that's going to be beneficial. While some may not work for you, as the system is built, you may be able to skip steps. You may be able to go back and recommit to steps. So it's really important for me as a leader in the Focus Unleashed system to create that trust and that credibility. And that starts with me working through it in my life, creating the identity that I want to create so that it does build trust and it does build credibility. But in order to do that, I have to build leadership through identity. And what that means is it isn't about telling people what to do. The system itself is not about telling you what to do. It's about showing people who to be. I want to be a very successful person in 2026 and beyond. And in order to do that, I built this system and I'm still continuing to build the system and improve on it. That will help me show people who they can be if they implement the system into their life. When you look at it from the worldview, people think leadership is about, I can tell you what to do because I'm the boss. But leadership through identity is about embodying discipline, embodying consistency, embodying capacity, embodying integration, embodying momentum. Leadership through identity is influence without force. And I think that's really, really an important statement. Leadership through identity is influence without force. You shouldn't have to have a title for people to want to follow you. Based on whatever industry you're in, whatever you're doing, people should gravitate to you because you are being successful and you can show them how to create the same success without telling them exactly what to do, when to do, and how to do it. They should want to ask you. They should be asking for your guidance. Instead of you talking down to them or you putting them in a place where you feel they should be, they gravitate to you because you are the influence and you don't have to force them. They do it naturally because of who you are. And a lot of people go into the leadership positions with the idea that I'm the leader, so people have to follow me. And while on a surface level that may be true, how people truly feel about you is really whether they commit to your leadership or they don't. So the signs that you're kind of leading through identity, that true leadership, you know when you're leading through identity, when people follow you, excuse me, people follow your example without you asking. Your consistency inspires others to be consistent. Your discipline challenges others to rise higher. Your identity shifts, encourage others to shift theirs. Sorry, I'm having a hard time today. Your quiet reps create visible influence. Leadership through identity is leadership by example. And that is where the huge difference is. Someone who can tell you what to do, but can't show you through their own actions is not a true leader. I see that in sports a lot. I see coaches who will tell you what to do because they are the coach. They've done it for many, many years, and I've done this. But their quiet reps, them in the off season, them planning, making sure that they don't make the same mistakes from the year before, maybe going a little bit further and making sure that everybody's on the same page, or really embodying team culture and whatever it may be. Those are the things that people fall in line and they say, hey, this coach is serious. I really like him. I'm going to follow him because I know he's going to put me in the best position to be successful. If you have to tell someone that you're going to put them in the best position to be successful without showing them, then I don't really think you're in a position to put them in the best position to be successful. As a personal trainer, I take that to heart. My workouts are tougher than my clients' workouts. Not because I want to prove to them that I'm stronger and that I'm more educated in fitness, and I don't want that. What I want is, one, to let them know that I'm in it with them, and two, everything that I ask them to do, I have done, and I have done at a very high level. So I'm not asking them to do something that I haven't done. I'm not asking them to do something that I haven't done at a high level. And I also understand by doing it at a high level, I can assess their fitness level and then help them be in the best position to be successful based on experience and not just knowledge. I think that has gone a long way in my coaching career. And I hope to be able to do that in my real estate career, as well as the motivational speaker area that Focused Unleashed kind of falls into. So if you're really wanting to be a leader, and leadership is a quality that you're looking to embody, especially through identity. And I think anybody that is trying to be successful at some point, whether you want to be or not, you're going to be in a leadership position because people will naturally want to follow you. Your influence through your work ethic, through your discipline, through your consistency will help you be successful, but it will also have people gravitate towards you, asking you questions, wanting you to help them create the same success in their life. So how to embody leadership through identity? It's intentional, and it has to be intentional when you're doing it through identity. Like I said, anybody can get a title, anybody can say they're a leader, but when you want to lead through identity, You intentionally lead with one, live your identity consistently. Leadership is proven in daily reps, not big speeches. Two, protect your credibility. Credibility is built through responsibility and consistency. Three, elevate others through your example. Leadership isn't about control. It's about empowerment. Four, stack leadership wins slowly. Leadership grows through repetition, not rush. This is where Stack Wins Friday becomes influence. 5, trust leadership as confirmation. Leadership isn't pressure, it's proof. You've become someone worth following. The biggest takeaway from me when building this episode was elevate others through example. Leadership isn't about control, it's about empowerment. I coach flag football, and every kid that I've coached, I've wanted them to end the season better than they started. And it's up to me to put them in the best position to do that. I've coached 3 seasons, head coach. The first season was a learning period, and I wasn't a great leader. I was focused on winning, not winning as wins and losses, but winning as in getting better each game. And the focus on that, I can honestly say it was about control and not about empowerment. I learned the second season. Went in with a good group. I actually had one of my players' dads pass away in the season. And I think the moment that I really understood what leadership was in that particular instance was every kid, I gave all the kids an option. We would either play the game that Sunday or we would forfeit and go to the teammates' dad's visitation. I left that up to the kids, and not one kid said that they wanted to play the game. They wanted to be there for their teammate. And they all showed up. They showed up in their jerseys. We paid our respects. And I think that was when I really understood empowerment. Giving kids the ability to be better because of who they are as individuals and not just their athletic abilities. And I've took that and I've expanded that into my coaching in flag football, but it's also something that I've brought back to personal training, not so much focusing on the goal that a client has, but empowering them to do more beyond what the goal is. And that is be stronger, not just physically, but mentally. Help them handle life situations while going through fitness situations, and being able to combine the two where they're not only getting stronger physically and mentally in the gym, but it's helping them adapt to the circumstances in life that come up that are really, really hard. And as I've taking that commitment, I feel like a leader in my field. Am I the best personal trainer? I would never even say that I was, even if I thought I was. I know that I'm a good personal trainer, but my program goes beyond fitness. And that's something that I embody in my own life. And I am pretty sure that 99.5% of my clients receive that very, very well. And it is helping not only them reach their physical goals, but also helping them in life as well. So leadership by identity is a commitment not only to being a leader, but also being a person who commits to the identity in which they are trying to embody. And if you can combine those two things, I think it really helps you create the leadership qualities that you're looking for without even trying. You don't need the title because the leadership is a part of who you are. Not because you're telling people what to do, but because you're leading by example, but also empowering people along the way. But like everything we talked about this month, there is a truth about leadership. Leadership is heavy. Leadership is lonely. Leadership is demanding. But the weight is what makes you the example. It's what builds your influence. It's what makes your success contagious. Leadership through identity is the invisible force that elevates others. I'm going to say that again. Leadership through identity is the invisible force that elevates others. I want people to understand that leadership is all about elevating. It's not about control. It's about empowerment. Really if you don't take anything else away from this podcast, this episode, take that away. Leadership isn't just about people. It's about systems. Because systems protect your leadership when motivation fades. Systems make your influence sustainable. This sets up the next episode, episode 32. Sustain success, building systems that last. We've talked about building systems before. We built systems earlier in the year. And like I said, as you change, your systems need to change. Your identity grows, your systems need to grow. Not necessarily need to a drastic change, but you may need to upgrade. And we're going to talk about that in the next episode because I think it's really, really important. You are constantly changing, especially if you're progressing. If you're progressing, you're constantly changing. So you don't want to continue to do the same things that the old identity did to get where you are. You're new. Hopefully you're more consistent. You're more disciplined. You're not as distracted. You're extremely focused. So that level that you have risen to needs new systems to keep you going in a upward trajectory. Ooh, that's a big word. Leadership is identity influence. Responsibility gave you the weight. All right. Leadership gives you the inner influence. Leadership isn't about titles. It isn't about control. It isn't about authority. Leadership is about identity. It's about becoming the example. It's about living in the way that others want to follow. You don't lead by telling people what to do. You lead by being who they want to follow. This is leadership through identity. This is episode 31, and this is the next step in Focus Unleashed. I think I pretty much summed up why leadership is so important to me. Like I said, I hope that you take it to heart. Leadership is truly, truly about empowering others. You should want people not only to be able to recreate what you create through success, but also to do better than what you've done, because then that inspires you to be better than where you are. It's all about empowerment. The more we empower others, the more of a leader we are. And we don't need a title to tell us that. This is Focused Unleashed. And as always, stay focused and be ready to unleash it.